Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Japan is not going to have any more of your crap.
Yep.
They're not going to have any more of your crap. Japan is apparently concerned, or a lot of creators are concerned in Japan about American censorship and how it's going to affect the anime, manga, and gaming industries. And we're seeing some pushback from the East. Good, because I don't think the West really has any right to tell Japanese creators what they should and should not create, what their sensibilities should be. It's frankly none of our business, but now that Hollywood is getting involved in anime and manga more heavily, they're bringing their sensibilities to it.
Can I just say, there's a reason why anime and manga are kicking comic books in Hollywood's ass, and they're going to go try to change it to be like them, and then it's going to fail as like everything else they touch. It's like, keep your damn hands off of it.
Yeah, so, and that, what's going on now too is we have a lot of these streaming services like co-financing productions and stuff like that, and, it's whoever's got the money controls the content. So we'll see what happens, but Japan seems to be concerned about what's going on now with all of the censorship over, blackface, or perceived, I'd say perceived blackface, because it's not actually blackface.
Don't any of you ever go tan? How dare you?
We're going to talk about that. Black Sage D, I got to give him a shout out. Follow him on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Very, very smart guy. He tagged me in, and this is an interesting thread. This is the creator of Record of Lodoss War, which is a very well-respected classic anime, classic manga. I think they had some video games too. And it's Mr. Mizuno. He's the novelist best known for Record of Lodoss War. The news that episodes of the Dark Elf costume drama from Community have been removed from Netflix and Hulu was a hot topic on Japanese Twitter. This is a tweet in response to this, because he's got Dark Elves in Lodoss War. They're tan, they're darker skin, but they're not black. So this is what he said. He said, Netflix removing a work with a dark elf in it. So I looked up the source, and it seems that the dark elf itself wasn't removed for being racist, but rather the problem was that the character of a race other than black had their faces painted black. They don't understand this over there. So again, this is a cultural difference.
And you can't project your culture onto their culture. You're not allowed to do that.
Right.
That's appropriation.
But they're getting nervous overseas. However, in the future, it may be considered discriminatory against dark elves, equal evil. There's no lack of it. Maybe there's a future where all of my works are banned. So he is concerned because America is going on this banning spree.
Part of America.
Part of America. But the problem is that part of America controls the majority of entertainment, controls the majority of media. And they've gone on a censorship spree in the last couple of months. Now, they've been doing it for a while, but it has absolutely escalated in the last couple of months, and definitely in the last couple of weeks, especially in animation. And pulling an episode of Community that I don't think has offended very many people in the last 8 or 10 years, but we're going to pull it now. And he's worried that his own creations, that maybe Lodoss War will be banned because we've got a darker skinned elf, and that's problematic.
Because, there's no darker skinned people in Asia at all.
Yeah. So this is insane. And I have to wonder if there's going to be pushback from Japan and be like, we're not even going to bother. One of two things will happen. Either they'll make watered down crap for the US that they can throw on the streaming services over here, or they'll just be like, you know what, we're just making entertainment for Japan, and fuck you, America, we don't care. That's how it used to be.
Well, here's what's going to happen. These streaming services that are going to demand this are going to find themselves without customers.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is people just go,
people are going to push back because they're getting most of America, the majority of your customers are getting sick of the shit. So I'm just pointing that out.
Well, yeah, and this is happening in gaming too, where Sony is going on a censorship spree. Switch games, I guess, aren't, which is so weird because Nintendo used to be the ones that were censorship happy.
Okay, so they'll censor this stuff, but they won't censor sex scenes out of games. And they won't censor, well, they will for Japan.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So Japan is kind of striking back here. But yeah, there are companies that are hurting financially because Sony won't release their product over here because they're censoring everything. Whereas on the Switch and on the PC, they're not censoring stuff. I mean, it's gotten so crazy that we have Final Fantasy games from 20 plus years ago that they're covering up female summons more, and nobody had a problem with this. 20 years ago. They look like they're wearing like bikinis or whatever.
Well, let me just put this in perspective. They will not censor on the American platform full-on sex scene. That's okay, but covered up anime boobs have to be censored.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, let that sink in.
They have to be covered up more. So we have to put sports bras on characters to make sure they don't jiggle. We have to take summons, which are godlike beings, or not even humans, and they can't wear a bikini. They got to be fully clothed.
Right.
We're painting leggings on characters. I've seen them like take characters that had bare legs and put stockings on them.
But we can have sex scenes in games.
Yes, photorealistic sex scenes in American-produced games.
But that's okay.
That is okay. So you see what's going on here. So I think Japan has a right to be worried. I really think they do. And it's going to be up to American consumers, if they don't want watered down, censored entertainment, to push back.
Right, because what's going on is, of course, Japan's worried, because one of the biggest audiences anymore has been like over here, and they're dominating. They're kicking comics ass. They're kicking other animated stuff's ass. And Hollywood's, they're worried about it, so they're going to try to control it. We can't stop it. We're going to control it. That
is exactly what's going on, and we've been talking about this on this channel for probably over 2 years now, and people thought we were crazy when we first started talking about it. We said there is a war coming.
Well, someone told you that, and you thought they were crazy at first, too.
I thought they were crazy. We actually had an animation industry insider come to us like 2.5 years ago when we first were just kind of ramping up the channel and say, hey, the next battleground is going to be anime, manga, games, Japanese produced content, because they're trying to censor it before it even makes it over here. They're trying to throw because they're co-producing a lot of this stuff now. They're trying to, force Japan to have America's current year sensibilities.
Well, I wouldn't even say America sensibilities. Certain people
Twitter sensibilities.
Yes.
Tumblr sensibilities. And there's going to be pushback. I mean, we're seeing some ridiculous stuff going on, but there is actually a war on anime happening right now. I mean, we're seeing it with the media constantly calling out certain series as being problematic. Like, you just shouldn't. It's just problematic. How are they going to deal? Okay, the Shield hero got enough shit to begin with, but with everything going on in the country right now, how are they going to address slave crests? I want to know, because that's gonna. I mean, they're even talking that you can't call computer systems a master, and a slave. How are they going to deal with slave crests? And again, this is America looking at everything, being very myopic, and thinking that everything revolves around America and American history and American politics, when there has been slavery in other countries.
Right. Of other races as well, I want to point out.
Yes. I mean, forever, pretty much throughout the entirety of human history, prostitution and slavery have been a thing.
Yeah.
Other countries frankly don't give a shit about our history. But America is trying to make sure the entire world
has to kneel to America and go by our history.
And how xenophobic is that?
Cultural appropriation and all those other things,
Yeah, you're telling other countries what they're supposed to think and
feel.
How
racist of you.
Pretty much. And Japan is going to push back. They absolutely are. But yeah, I mean, it's really ramped up in the last couple of years that there's been all this pushback against anime. In the last year or so, this has been a topic of conversation because of Twitter. Now, Tumblr, this kind of discussion happened on Tumblr all the time, and then Tumblr became so much of a dumpster fire that people started jumping ship and going to Twitter, mostly because of porn. They took the porn away.
Yeah, let's
people
be honest.
Go where the porn is,
right? They took the porn off.
So they took that, which is so weird. We're talking about censorship, and we're talking about people who are thirsty for porn, but those same people will have an issue if an artist makes a character a little too light for their liking.
Or too dark.
or too dark. We've got examples of both. Again, here's a Japanese artist
doing a Japanese character being harassed by mostly Americans on Twitter for drawing this character too light-skinned, and they took her to task. This was last year over the Nessa from Pokemon. They took this girl to task on, I believe it's female. Took her to the task on Twitter because American Twitter is in charge of all of the sensibilities and political correctness for the entire world. Get off of Twitter.
Get off of Twitter. But we had, look, they were going so far as to correct her artwork and call her out. We saw this. We did a video a week or two ago about a manga artist who was harassed on Twitter by American Twitter. We had a Canadian artist who's very, very popular, does a lot of anime characters, also Asian. She was harassed on Twitter for making her black characters not black enough. She can draw full-on porn, but, your black characters just aren't black enough.
That's right.
And you're insensitive and you're racist, and she also liked tweets from the wrong people.
Right, so that was a bad thing. Because they control everything. They're not allowed to have an opinion in any way because Twitter says you're not allowed to.
Yeah, again, this is another reason to just get the hell off of Twitter, because there are people who literally will spend every damn second of their day pouring through your Twitter profile, pouring through your history, pouring through your likes to find something to get you on, especially if you're successful.
So you're better just to not give a shit what they say. I mean, because as soon as you give them that power, they take it.
And we never address this issue in particular, but it's the same kind of a thing where Batgirl artist Babs Tarr, she was basically canceled because she drew herself a little darker skin than she actually is, and people accused her on Twitter because, again, you hang out with these Twitter idiots. They're constantly looking for people within their group to purge. It's like a religious cult.
It is.
Everybody is keeping everybody else in check, and if you deviate, God forbid, you're gonna have to wail and lay in the ashes and tear your sleeves and all of that. But she drew herself a little darker skinned and she got called out. Now I'm looking at her art. I am not seeing a black girl, and beyond that, I'm a white guy. And when I lived in California, I was a hell of a lot darker than this. Mm-hmm.
I always stay really pale because I'm a redhead.
You burn. I don't burn.
Like, if the sun, you do burn a little bit.
It takes a lot to.
If the sun looks at me for more than if I even think about the sun, I'm burned. I mean, ask Kneon, how long will it take me to burn in the sun, even with sunscreen?
About 5 minutes.
Yeah. So
you walk from the car to the store if it's 90 degrees out, and you're burnt by the time you get in the door.
Yeah, it's just just going outside for 20 minutes, I'll be red. So, I don't tan, but Kneon does. And, now the second picture seems even more of a tan, and the first one looks a little more brown, though, I will admit. But still, I don't think
that's not blackface, though.
No, it's not. It's just, look, I'm tan,
Yeah.
And she kind of is a little darker when you look at her. I mean, she's light, but you can tell she's a tan.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, God.
I like how she draws shoes, though. I'll give her that. I think I like her art style. It's cute. I like it.
Yeah,
I do. I like it.
She's a good artist. I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, she's a good artist. I love her
shoes. She does a good job with shoes.
Yeah, because that's one thing people get wrong on shoes is they draw shoes like it's like the skin with shoelaces on it. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, the shoe, especially athletic shoes, need to they need to puff out more.
I just think she does a good job with shoes. Anyway,
so she likes shoes. Anyway, yeah, she's kind of canceled herself. We've got people on Twitter. Again, people on Twitter. Why did Babs Draw say anything about drawing herself as brown black yet? And why is her AC character 30 shades darker?
You're not even allowed to have your Animal Crossing character where you want. You don't have to make your Animal Crossing character yourself.
No.
Do they understand this? It's a character you're playing with. It doesn't have to be you.
Oh, Babs Draws, you're not the light-skinned person you think you are. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that on YouTube. Your next step is to delete your digital... Okay, this is where I think a lot of this insanity with voice acting and everything is coming from is Twitter. Because I never, ever, ever, ever heard of the concept of digital blackface.
This is stupid.
Until the last month or two. And Twitter's going around vetting all of the artwork, trying to decide whether or not, characters are too light or too dark. And if you've got a character of yourself and it's too dark, then that's digital blackface. And that rolled over into the mainstream now, where they're pulling episodes of Community, and they're kicking all white voice actors out of non-white roles because they consider that digital blackface. This is an alien concept to me, and that's what Japan's worried about. They're like, well, I guess then we've been doing digital blackface for decades now. But America's going to want to cancel us.
They do know that you can be darker skinned and not be black or Hispanic or anything else, right? They do know that, right? No, they clearly don't know that. You can be, actually it's hilarious. If you go by the genealogy and breakdown of where you come from, Kneon's actually whiter than I am. But he's considerably darker than me. I
am. Like, even if I go, like, even now I've got my arm next to your arm, and I'm not quite Babs Tarr level dark, but I haven't been out in the sun much this year because, I don't want to get all wrinkled.
But like I am actually, I have more diversity in my background than he does, and I am way whiter than him.
Go figure.
And he's whiter than I am as far as the history, the background, And here's another thing. Nobody in the world is going to be straight up one race. Anyway, I think no matter what you do, you go through the history of where you came from, you're going to have some stuff mixed in. Everybody, including, I don't care what race you are, you're going to have probably a mix of some other things in there. But, that's not okay.
We're all mutts and mongrels.
Pretty much.
I love that part from Harry Potter where they're talking about the mudbloods, and they're like, there's no witch or wizard that's 100% pure blood. They're basically that they think they are, but they're not. And
that's kind of like this. And it's like, I don't care who you are, you're going to have some kind of mix in there somewhere. And it's absolutely ridiculous. This whole thing's just stupid. It's basically like racism's bad, and we've been taught that for years, but now in 2020, racism's fine.
So they're saying that she's blackfishing.
Wait, is that like what? Is that like catfishing? You're blackfishing?
It says it's a gross tactic used by white women on social media to appear as a race other than their own for the sake of looking more exotic and profiting off of the fetishization.
Hey, well, you know what? I don't have to try to do that because I am exotic looking on my own. Thank you.
This is crazy.
What about the fetishization of gingers?
Well, that's it.
How many women out there dyeing their hair red, fake red, to try to say they're a redhead, and when they're not, because it's a fetish. Because guys like, that's what fact guys like redheads. It's a fetishization of gingers. How come that's okay?
I can verify that Geeky is 100% legit ginger.
I was gonna ask you how, but I'm not going to.
Don't. By your fiery temper.
That's right.
By your fiery temper. That's how I know. Critical. So she works for Critical Role. Then they said they're so effing irritating because they're promoting Black Lives Matter, but they need to fire Babs, who draws herself as now. First it was 30 shades darker. Wait, hold on. It was 30 shades darker. Okay, but now we're up to 100. We're up to 100 shades darker.
50 shades of Babs.
50 shades of Babs. And eventually, Babs is going to be over 9,000. Over 9,000 shades darker.
There you go.
That's how dark Babs is going to be. Hire a sensitivity consultant.
Wait, you have to hire... Okay, if you want to put your
Critical Role needs to hire a sensitivity consultant. Or maybe just do the bare minimum and stop commissioning promoting whitewashed art.
So we're not...
Where do these people come from? I want to know, like, where have they been hiding? Because until social media, people like this were crazy and dismissed. Like, if you had somebody come up to you with these complaints at a comic book convention, you'd be like, oh, that's great. Hey, the food court's over there. Why don't you go get yourself something and not come back? Here you go. Sign your book. Get the hell out of here.
Make sure it's brown. Don't make sure it's not too light.
I don't know. But again, these are the conversations that were quarantined to Tumblr, and they're bleeding over into Twitter. And Japan is rightfully worried. But actually what'll happen is Japan will just be like, fuck all you guys. We're going to go start our own Twitter thing, or we're going to pull off
They have
Twitter.
their own kinds of social media.
Yeah, I know they have
anyway.
their own. I know China does. They've got their own. I forget what's like Weibo or Weibo or something like that. But they don't even use Twitter. But they're so censored over there anyway. It's like, yeah, try having this discussion with someone from China, and they're gonna be like, what the fuck? It's not. They've even got a word. They've even got a nasty word for American social justice warriors. You're that much of a joke. Anyway, I thought this was funny. Speaking of jokes, we're going to talk about censorship here because two can play at this game. Japan censored the Abby scene.
Well, yeah,
from The Last of Us Part 2.
Whoa.
I mean, I think there's a couple things going on here. One, they're like, it's photorealistic, it's not cartoons. And two, they might be like, well, if you're going to censor all of our games, then guess what? We're gonna take this scene out of your game.
That's
and
right.
see how you like it. So they censored The Last of Us Part 2. They took the scene out. It was kind of like way too realistic, and it was way awkward. And it was. I'll be honest.
I didn't watch it.
They cut away, but the whole thing felt to me kind of rapey, and I'm like, why is this? You people are this progressive. Why are you putting a scene like that in this game? And then they're also getting pushback too, because I guess they dead named the trans character in the game, and they need sensitivity readers too. So Japan's telling you, you know what, we can do this too.
They sensitivity read your
They
thing
did.
and cut it out.
But this is funny too, just as kind of a, I guess we're gonna kind of wrap up with this. Well, one more thing after this. Kojima Productions roasted The Last of Us 2. When angry consumers said he exchanged their boring game. So they were talking about Death Stranding. They said it was boring as shit, and they exchanged it for a copy of The Last of Us Part 2. Boring as shit. Sold it to buy The Last of Us Part 2, to which Kojima Productions replies, the choice of game reflects the quality of its player. Maybe it just suits you more. P.S. Also the choice of words, and they put the Metacritic score
That's funny.
in there. So I think this game is getting roasted fiercely in Japan.
I wouldn't put it past these people to be so desperate for sales that they're going around deliberately trying to tank any other competition game right now.
Yeah.
To try to, to put this kind of stuff up to try to be like, well, they're in competition with us right now, so crap, take them out.
It wouldn't surprise me at all, because people are starting to, they always have, for the most part, preferred Japanese titles to American titles, but this whole censorship thing is very uneven. We did a video before talking about how, it's okay to have photorealistic sex in an American-produced game, but you gotta cover up those anime titties, even if they're not
Even if they're not exposed.
They're not exposed. Any cleavage needs to be covered. Any bouncing needs to be stopped. Stop the bouncing.
And as a big-chested woman, I don't care how tight of bra you got, they're going to move. It's just the way it happens.
So this is how this works, and this is where I'm going to wrap up with it, because the reason anime is a battleground, the reason gaming is a battleground, the reason movies and comics and all these things are battlegrounds is political activists look for platforms that have already been built, because it's really hard to build something from nothing. So they look for platforms that have been built, and now people are talking about how political K-pop has gotten lately. This is coming from Slate. And of course, we've seen this before with comics. We've seen it with anime. It's always been political.
Well, here's the thing, though. The reason they're bringing this up now, there's a reason. The reason they're bringing up K-pop and they're bringing up, some of these groups is because they released BTS and Blackpink released singles on the same day, and they broke all kinds of flipping records on YouTube for viewership. They're trending topics or trending names. So now, what can we jump on to get hits to our article? Oh, K-pop, because K-pop is kicking everybody's ass on YouTube right now. Hurry up! Let's make that a political battleground too. And that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, they're parasites, and they're looking to attach themselves to the biggest organism. This is what happened with gaming. This is why they're going after anime. Now, if anime kind of wanes in popularity, then you'll see them go away. But gaming, they came in like a bunch of parasites, attached themselves to the gaming industry, and then
now they're going after K-pop.
Now they're going after K-pop.
Piggy Boo's going to have some words for you people.
I think so. So, they can only take over an industry. These activists can only take over an industry if you let them. And the best way to teach them a lesson is not spend money on products that are overtly political, that are trying to shame you, the customer. I don't know. That's all I got.
I got nothing else to add to this. So,
but I think Japan's going to push back. I really do. I really do. I think.
And stop trying to put your politics, your cultural background onto everybody else. Because here's the thing, it's very myopic of us to all expect every other country in the world to cater to our sensibilities. That is stupid. It's ridiculous. It's racist, and it's a load of shit.
Yes, it is. So let Japan be Japan, and if you want to watch their entertainment, that's awesome. I would say do so as a spectator.
And if you don't, well then just keep your mouth shut and don't watch it.
Then go play
you tell us all the time.
Yeah, go play The Last of Us Part 2 again, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.